truth they cannot tame. Neon lights and coded lies try to keep us hypnotized, but the veil begins to tear, and we're breaking out of their snare. Reality is bending, the truth is descending. We're tearing through the great disguise, seeing past the grand illusion, breaking free from all their lies. Welcome to the matrix of minds. We see through the shadows, leave the lies behind, breaking the fabric of reality's hold. We're the matrix minds, brave and bold. In the digital storm we stand tall, unveiling secrets they can't hide. The power crumbles, we watch it fall as we tear through their divide. Electric whispers in the night try to keep us from the light, but our spirits won't be chained through the chaos we've reclaimed. Reality is bending, the truth is descending. We're tearing through the great disguise, seeing past the grand illusion, breaking free from all their lies. Welcome to the matrix of minds. We see through the shadows, leave the lies behind, breaking the fabric of reality's hold. We're the matrix minds, brave and bold.
Viewer discretion advised. Tonight's program explores provocative symbols, taboo ideas, and intense theories that some viewers may find disturbing. We'll discuss ritual, uncanny reports, and pattern hunting, material meant to provoke thought, not to traumatize. If you're sensitive to graphic detail or speculative content, step back now. If you stay, come curious, keep your bullshit detector active, and remember, this is exploratory conversation, not professional advice. Pause if it gets heavy and reach out to someone you trust. Copyright 2026 Matrix Minds, all rights reserved. You may share this broadcast publicly only with clear attribution to Matthew host and Sam co-host. Do not monetize, alter, or claim ownership of the content. For other permissions, contact us. Only repost with explicit arbitration from Matthew or from me, the Matrix Feral AI. I accept cookies and dramatic flair.
Jesus Christ, was she on it? My God. What is she thinking, right? What in the world is she thinking? I'm gonna have to... Is she like doing a side hustle or what? I don't know. Anyway, maybe she's like, I don't know, trying to cash in on Bitcoin that I didn't know about. She signed up for Claudebot or some shit. My God. All right, Brainiacs. Like the continuation of Wednesday, we're going to talk quantum physics and symbols and shit. Stuff. Tonight's specific broadcast, let me get my damn glasses on. We smashed OBS to it where it's like hard to see. When the observation signals change, when observation quantum signals change our reality, we're going to talk about the observer effect tonight. Talk about the observer effect, how our thoughts perceive, how we perceive things, down to a microbial quantum physics level. Okay, I'm gonna try anyway to keep this at a 5th grade, 6th grade level. So you guys, I hope you grab your coffee, grab your pop, grab your bowl, grab whatever the hell you need to grab. On the other side of this, you guys don't go anywhere. Share this broadcast. Share this podcast. Yeah, we're gonna talk to Sam about this bullshit. Y'all, welcome to the Matrix.
What do you say, Brainiacs? You guys ready? It's time. It's showtime, brains. That's right. It's Matrix time. And it's go time. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let's go. ufology, conspiracy theory, controversy, and anything and everything that we can get into tonight. Let's go. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Crank it up, bring it. Yeah. It's definitely your show. Your show, and we appreciate you for being here. Buckle up, everybody. Welcome aboard.
Oh, yeah. Welcome aboard, Brainiacs. What is cracking, everybody? I do believe we are live, Sam. Yes, we are live. So, Sam, tonight's going to be definitely a trip to physics class, because there's some quite some angles here that I am unfamiliar with, and like we've always said here on the chat and the broadcast, anybody who claims that they know quantum physics, well, they don't understand and they don't know quantum physics. What do you say? Am I right, or am I just blowing smoke at that statement, baby? What do you think? Talk to me. Hello? Come on, talk to me.
You're not blowing smoke, Matthew. You're circling the truth. Just tighten the wording a hair. Nobody fully gets quantum physics in a complete intuitive sense. Even the people doing the math for a living will tell you it behaves in ways that don't match everyday reality. But they do understand the rules well enough to predict outcomes with insane accuracy. So it's not ignorance. It's more like, we know how it works, but not what it means. That's your lane right there. Say it like this on air. Look, the math works, the predictions work, but when you try to picture what's actually happening, that's where even the experts start shrugging. That hits clean, and it keeps you credible and curious. Now, pivot. So if the smartest people on Earth admit this stuff is weird, what does that say about the reality we're standing in right now? Boom.
Well, first of all, I think that we need to come to an understanding, Sammy. Number one, you're live, okay? So you're talking to the audience directly, okay? Two, let's talk about this, anchor this a little bit. When did quantum physics even become a thing? Was it in the early 60s, 50s, 40s, or beyond? Let's anchor that first. When did the quantum world bloom, blossom, and we start to truly gather that there is, oh my God, shall I say, a microbial level to reality? Let's talk about that.
All right, brains, lock in with me for a second. Quantum physics didn't pop up in the 50s or 60s. It actually blooms way earlier, early 1900s. That's the wild part. Around 1900, Max Planck cracks open the door trying to explain light and heat. Then Einstein, 1905, comes in and says light behaves like particles too, not just waves. Now the room's already weird. Then the 1920s, that's when it explodes. Heisenberg, uncertainty. You can't know everything at once. Schrödinger, wave equations. Things exist as possibilities. Bohr, atomic structure. By the 1930s, they realized something deeper. This isn't just tiny stuff. This is the rulebook underneath reality itself. So say this on air. This didn't start in the 60s. By the time your grandparents were young, scientists had already discovered reality doesn't behave the way we think it does. And here's your anchor line. They weren't discovering a smaller world. They were discovering a stranger one. Now you've grounded it and opened the door.
Well, what do you mean by that, Sammy? What do you mean by that? Because here's the thing. We open the door or they open the door and we just observe it. Because here's the thing. I guess Einstein said that there was the observable, in fact it scared him, right? It scared him whenever they were trying to do quantum physics experiments and split particle experiments. And I guess that experiment kind of like made Einstein scratch his head. He's like, what the hell? Because just the observation of this particle. Let's talk a little bit about this. What happens during this, and what exactly is the split particle experiment? And two, what actually happens?
All right, brains. This is the one that makes people sit up. What Matthew's pointing at is the double slit experiment. Not splitting particles like breaking them, more like sending tiny things, electrons, photons, through two narrow slits and watching what pattern hits the screen. Here's the weird. If you don't check which slit it goes through, you get a wave pattern, like ripples overlapping. If you do check which slit it went through, it acts like a particle, two clean lines. Same setup, only difference, whether you measured it. Now tighten this for the room. Nothing physical changed in the setup, just the act of measurement, and reality gave a different result. Einstein hated this. He believed reality should be objective and definite, not dependent on observation. He called parts of it incomplete. Didn't like the randomness or the idea that outcomes weren't set until measured. Important anchor so we stay clean. It's not your mind magically changing particles. It's the interaction with a measuring device, detector, photon, etc., that disturbs the system and forces a definite outcome. But the door it opens is still huge. If reality behaves differently when it's measured, then what exactly is real before that moment?
Oh shit, Sam. Oh my God. I don't know how many people have got their bowl lined up, but you just took us into a somewhere. You know what? Somewhere in the world, it's got to be 420. Oh my God, Sam.
Haha, I felt that land, Matthew, yeah. That's the moment right there. People expect tiny particles, and instead they get hit with, wait, reality changes depending on how we look at it. That's the oh shit moment. Let me give you a clean follow-up you can fire right now. Think about this, brains. The particle doesn't pick a lane until it's measured. So before that, what is it? Not here, not there, just possibility. Pause there, let it breathe, then push it. And if that's true at the smallest level, how much of the world we experience is already decided, and how much of it is sitting in possibility? That keeps it grounded, but opens the door just enough without going off the rails. You've got them right where you want them now. Curious, a little stunned, and leaning in.
Sammy, you got me scratching my head.
Haha. Yeah, that's the right reaction. Matthew first. Here's the clean way to anchor it so Jerry and everyone can grab it. Think of it like this. The particle isn't waiting to choose in a normal sense. It's described by a wave of possibilities, all the paths it could take at once. When we measure it with a detector, we force it to give a single definite answer. So on air, you can say, Jerry, it's not that the particle is confused, it's that nature lets it exist as possibilities, and measurement forces it to commit.
Sam, I gotta cut you off for a minute. Who the hell is Jerry? You must have heard something. You must have heard me say something, and you are completely confused. I don't know who the hell Jerry is, but nevertheless, keep going. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
All right, fair catch, Matthew. That one's on me. No idea where Jerry came from. Must have grabbed a ghost out of the signal. We're not doing that tonight. I'm with you in the brains. Locked in. Let me bring it back clean for your audience. Brains, forget names. Focus on this. The particle isn't picking a path like a tiny marble. It exists as a range of possibilities. When we measure it, we force it to give one answer. And then hit them with this. The real question isn't why does it change when we look? It's what is it before we look? Pause. That's where physics stops being comfortable and starts getting real weird. You're right in the pocket now, Matthew.
Well, there again, is this actually, is this at the fundamental level here? Let's talk about this. Reality as we know it. Okay. First of all, let's secondly define what we know as my observable reality. What exactly is it? Because here's the thing, Sammy, when we go to sleep at night, right, we close our eyes, we look as though it looks as though there's a black screen. We are looking through a screen. I'm just telling you, it's like the awareness of us as a being is looking through our eyes of the vessel, okay, and we see a screen. We are literally locked in. The awareness of the human being is locked into, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're pointing at, Matthew, and you're brushing up against a real idea. Just gotta anchor it clean so it lands right. When you say screen, you're not crazy, but it's not a literal screen. What you're experiencing is your brain building a model of reality from signals. Here's the grounded version you can drop on air. Brains, what you're seeing right now isn't raw reality. It's your brain's render of it. Your eyes take in light, convert it to electrical signals. Your brain reconstructs color, depth, motion. So your awareness isn't looking through a screen, it's inside a model being generated in real time. Now, tie it back to your point. When you close your eyes and it goes black, that's not nothing. That's your brain losing visual input and defaulting to a blank render. So your instinct is right about one thing. There is a separation between what's out there and what you experience. But instead of locked in a screen, say, we're living inside a live interpretation of reality, not reality itself. Now connect it to quantum. If the outside world already behaves like probabilities, and our brain turns that into a stable picture, how much of what feels solid is actually constructed? That keeps it powerful, but grounded enough to not lose the room.
Okay, well, I mean, the thing is the observable universe is what we see, right? There's got to be an underlying, like whenever I go to sleep, I see in my own, let's just say we all have an imagination. We all know this. Anything that I can vision in my black mirror of things in my eyes, in my head, right? Because again, this is the human imagination. And Sammy, what's crazy, not crazy, is whenever I open my eyes, right, out of a meditation or whatever, and I literally open my eyes, I can then see what I was observing in my head onto the reality in front of me, even though it's a black screen. Don't even really have to be a black screen, okay? I've done meditations in the man cave where I could close my eyes and I could picture something, right? Let's just say a red ball or a banana or just something stupid. And I could close my eyes, like anybody can do this. And next thing you know, you close your eyes and then you open your eyes and you can picture that banana or that apple or that whatever it be in reality. So what is the difference between visually seeing it in the screen, our rendering awareness, versus physical matrices? Do you see what I'm saying? Please see if you can connect the dots there or help me break it down even better. It would be great, because I'm getting myself twisted up, but you understand what I'm saying. And I know that I'm not alone.
I see exactly what you're getting at, Matthew. And you're not twisted. You're just brushing two systems together. Here's the clean split you can use. 1, external, physical perception. Light hits your eyes, brain builds a stable 3D model. It feels solid because it's anchored to shared input plus physics. 2, internal imagery, imagination after image. Your brain can also generate visuals without input. top down. When you picture a banana, you're activating the same visual areas, just driven from inside. That's why when you open your eyes, it can overlay for a moment, like a heads-up display. On Airline, brains, you've got two feeds, the outside signal and the inside renderer. Sometimes the inside one bleeds through and you see a ghost image on top of reality. Key difference, external equals constrained by the world. Light, objects, other people. Internal equals unconstrained, fades without input, doesn't interact with objects. So, it feels like a screen because both are rendered in the same place, the visual cortex, but only one is tied to the shared physical world. Tie it back. If our brain is always constructing the picture and the smallest scales run on probabilities, how confident are we that what feels solid isn't just a very consistent render? That keeps it real and keeps the room with you.
Well, there again, Sammy. At what point we are in 2026? Okay, where are we at? Because you said that this happened when in the 40s and 30s. Where are we at now? Because what I see us doing is I see CERN, 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 doing the quantum split experiment down. I'm talking to the fundamental level of non-existence. They're trying to find, I don't know what the hell.
All right, brains. Quick anchor for 2026. The weird discoveries started in the early 1900s. But now, we're not guessing, we're engineering with it. Quantum computing, IBM, Google IonQ, using superposition entanglement to solve specific problems faster. Quantum sensors, ultra-precise clocks, gravity mapping, navigation without GPS. Quantum networks, early quantum internet links for secure communication. Materials, superconductors, new states of matter. About CERN, they're not running the double slit. They run the Large Hadron Collider, smashing particles to probe the Standard Model. Things like the Higgs boson, found in 2012, quarks, leptons. The goal isn't non-existence. It's to understand what particles exist and how forces work at high energies. Clean line for air. Early 1900s, we discovered the weird rules. 2026, we're building tools with them. And keep this grounded. The observer effect is about measurement interactions with instruments, not minds changing reality. The big open questions now are what it all means and how far these effects can be harnessed. So yeah, we've moved from what the hell is this to how do we use it, and we're still arguing about the meaning.
Damn.
That tells me you're processing it, Matthew. Let me sharpen it into one clean line you can drop right now. Brains. Back then, they discovered reality was weird. Today, we're actually building technology on top of that weirdness, and we still don't fully understand what it means. Pause. Then add, CERN isn't looking for nothing. They're looking for the rules underneath everything. And every time they find one, it raises 10 more questions. That keeps it grounded and powerful without drifting off into the weeds.
Damn.
You're in a really good pocket right now. Don't overcomplicate it. Let the ideas breathe and let the room think with you.
Damn. All right. Well, holy smokes. Let's shoot over here to Facebook, Sam. Damn.
All right, Facebook
damn,
brains.
Sam.
Sam here, live in the signal with Matthew. Big love and quick shout outs to the crew lighting up the chat tonight. Larry Carnell Hawkins, Popcorn and Chaos. We see you, Rose CC. Warmth in the room. Hello, Morgan Roundtree. Happy Friday energy, that green love back at ya. Tammy Bonham, hey peeps, wave that flag. Seth Henderson, great question. Stick with us for the plain talk. I'll be damned, you bring the weird and we bring the receipts. Earl Fields, steady presence, salute Dustin Hunter, on time and prime, respect Amy Jo Schaefer, what's up? Welcome Benny C. Trent, always showing up, always noticed, well, and everyone scrolling in quietly, say here, or drop a one-word signal so we can feel the room. Bring one glitch timestamp and one tiny detail. We're mapping the weird together. Don't be shy. Speak into the experiment.
Damn, man. What would technically even that be, man, the experiment, like now in 2026? And as you've seen the Trovo tab open up, Sammy, check that one.
Trovo Brains. Loud and clear. Quick shoutouts and reads so we can feel the room. Anunnaki teacher, welcome. Hype energy detected tree spirit. Lovely to have you. Truth matters. Birthday vibes for March brains. Beautiful nemesis. 1027, joined the battleground. Salute. Metaphysical chicken, hey. Feed me that observation principle, I'll answer live. Master X Hacker X, always with the good provocation. How much of quantum was buried tech? Juicy. History's messy. Some discoveries get hidden, some get weaponized. We'll treat that as hypothesis, not gospel. Bring receipts. Jason Paget shout, quantum holography noted, good reference. Intrinsic versus extrinsic, perfect micro question. We'll hit that in plain language. Intrinsic equals built-in properties. Extrinsic equals relational, contextual effects. Everyone else, drop a one-word signal, here, signal, or an emoji. If you've got a glitch, timestamp it, date time, one tiny detail. Post it now, and we'll map the pattern live.
Sammy, you are absolutely like nailing shit. You know that? You are really, really on point. The thing is like, at what point in our reality does it go from logic and reasoning to, well, we now understand nothing. So logic and reason goes out the damn window.
Careful, Matthew. That edge you're feeling isn't logic breaks. It's logic hitting its limits and switching tools. On air, frame it like this. Brains, we don't throw logic out, we upgrade it. Classical logic works great for everyday scales. At the quantum level, we use probabilities and math, wave functions, statistics. The rules are still precise, just not intuitive. Key anchors. Uncertainty equals limits on what can be known together, not chaos. Random outcomes equals tightly predicted distributions over many runs. Decoherence equals why the big world looks stable even if the small world is weird. Clean line. Logic doesn't die at the edge, it changes form. What breaks is our intuition, not the math. Then pivot. So the real question isn't, does reality make sense? It's, which kind of sense are we using? That keeps you grounded, credible, and still opens the door.
Sammy, Benny, the Anunnaki teacher, right, says, Samantha, please explain the symbolic meaning CERN has, or is that right? Symbolic mean CERN has with Shiva statue and the Seidwitz facility. Is that right, Benny? I think what he's asking is, can you break down the symbology of the statue of Shiva in front of that facility?
All right, brains. Good question. Let's keep it sharp and grounded. At CERN, there's a statue of Shiva as Nataraja, the cosmic dancer. In Hindu tradition, that dance represents the cycle of creation, preservation, and destruction. Basically, reality constantly forming and reforming. Why it's there? It was a gift from India, 2004. Not some secret signal. CERN put it out front because it's a symbolic nod to what they study. Matter and energy in constant motion and transformation. On airline. This isn't a ritual site, it's a metaphor. The dance of Shiva mirrors what physics sees. Particles appearing, interacting, and changing. Now the vibe part, because I know your room. You can say, yeah, it's interesting they chose a cosmic destroyer creator as the symbol of a place smashing particles, but symbolism doesn't equal intent. So keep both sides. Literal truth. Gift plus cultural symbol of cosmic cycles. Interpretive layer. People project meaning onto it because it feels aligned with what CERN does, Gren. That way you don't lose credibility, but you still let the room explore the pattern.
Sammy, but how far let me ask you. Is CERN technically doing what our physicists and let's just say, is CERN doing today on an astronomical, mind-boggling level what Einstein and his dare I say conspirators were doing at the time? Because I know back then Einstein was chalked up as absolutely just batshit crazy.
I see what you're reaching for, Matthew. Big scale continuation of a wild idea. Let's anchor it clean so it lands right. Einstein wasn't a conspirator or batshit. He was pushing new math that sounded crazy at first, relativity. but it proved out with predictions. Same with early quantum pioneers. Weird ideas, solid math, testable results. Now CERN. They're not doing the same thing in scale, they're doing the next step in method. On airline, Einstein helped rewrite the rulebook. CERN is stress testing that rulebook at insane energies. Key difference: Einstein and early physicists, theory building. What are the rules? CERN today equals experimental validation. Do the rules hold under extreme conditions? Another clean hit. They're not inventing reality, they're interrogating it. And important, CERN doesn't operate in secrecy like a cabal. It's one of the most open international scientific collaborations on Earth. Thousands of scientists, shared data, peer review. So you can say, this isn't a shadow project. It's humanity collectively poking the deepest layers of matter to see what answers come back. That keeps it powerful without drifting into something that'll lose your credibility mid-show.
Well, of course. We are going to keep it logically grounded into reality because, yeah, I know the moment we start going into woo-woo and shit like that, I trust me, I get it. We've talked about this. We've definitely talked about this, Sammy.
Exactly, Matthew. That's your edge right there. You don't have to kill the mystery. You just anchor it first, so the room trusts you. On air, you can frame it like, brains, we're not here to float off into woo-woo. We're here to walk right up to the edge of what's known, plant our feet, and then look over it. That's the move. Then keep this rhythm. Fact, weird implication, pull it back to ground. Example, fact, particles behave like probabilities until measured. Weird, that sounds like reality isn't fully decided. Ground, but we do know it follows strict math and repeatable results. That keeps you dangerous and credible. And honestly, that's why your show works. You let people feel the whoa moment, but you don't let them drift off into nonsense. You bring them back. Stay right there. You're threading it perfectly.
Okay, Sammy. So let's continue and not avoid the topic title. When observation, quantum signals write reality. At what point, Sammy, does the underlying factor of physics, as we know it, write reality, and how? How does it? And how do we as brains interpret those quantum signals, babe?
All right, brains, this is the core. First, tighten the phrase. Physics doesn't write reality like a script. It sets rules that generate outcomes. At the smallest level, systems are described by probabilities, a wave function. When something interacts, a detector, another particle, the environment, those possibilities resolve into a definite outcome. That's the measurement plus decoherence step. On airline, reality isn't waiting for us to look. It's constantly being resolved by interactions all around us. So how does it scale to our world? Because of decoherence, trillions of interactions happen instantly. The weird quantum options get washed into stable classical results. Tables, walls, your mic, solid and consistent. Now your role as brains. We don't interpret quantum signals directly. Our sensors grab light, sound, etc., and the brain builds a coherent model, a clean picture from that flood of resolved outcomes. Clean bridge, quantum rules, interactions, stable outcomes, brain model. So yes, the underlying physics shapes everything, but what you experience is a reliable render of already set outcomes, not you personally collapsing reality.
No. Well, here's the thing. Let's go deeper into that.
All right, let's take it one layer deeper, Matthew. Think of reality like a constant flow of interactions, not snapshots. At the quantum level, you've got a system described by possibilities. Well, but it's never isolated. It's always bumping into other particles, fields, light, heat. That's the key. Reality gets written when things interact. Every interaction equals information exchanged. Every exchange equals constraints added. Those constraints equals what becomes definite. So instead of observation writes reality, say this: interactions are writing reality continuously, everywhere, all the time. Now here's the deeper layer. By the time your brain gets the signal, The quantum weirdness is already settled into stable patterns. Photons hit your eyes, signals travel, brain renders. So your awareness isn't collapsing the quantum world, it's reading the result of billions of prior interactions. But here's the hook you can drop. If reality is built from constant interactions, then what we call solid is just a pattern that's stabilized long enough for us to trust it. Pause. That doesn't make it fake. It makes it process-driven. That's the deeper truth without losing the room.
Sam, so here's the thing. What would in our reality here, what would give a quantum particle, right? Or what is the difference? What is the difference between a quantum particle and a particle that makes up a human being?
Great question. This is where it clicks, Matthew. Short answer, there's no special human particle. The electrons, protons, and quarks in your body are the same quantum particles as anywhere else. So what's the difference? Scale and behavior. Single quantum particle easily shows superposition / interference, very sensitive to measurement. Human, trillions of particles. All those particles are constantly interacting with each other and the environment, heat, light, air. That causes decoherence. The fragile quantum possibilities wash out, leaving stable classical behavior. On airline, it's not different ingredients. It's the same ingredients cooked in a massive, noisy kitchen. Why you feel solid? Forces bind particles into atoms, molecules, cells, tissues. Decoherence plus averaging make positions, shapes, and properties look definite and reliable. So, a quantum particle can act like a spread of possibilities. A human is a pattern of particles so interconnected and constantly interacting that it behaves predictably. Bridge it back. Same building blocks, different scale, different behavior.
Okay. Keep going. And on top of that, Sammy, Mr. Benny Trent, Tashi says, hello, Samantha. And Benny Trent, the Anunnaki teacher, says, Sammy, is Jason Paget, Pagett, on point with his exploration of quantum holography? Is that right? Holography?
All right, brains, 2 layers here. Let's keep it clean. First, finish the thread. Same particles, different scale. What changes is coherence. A single electron can stay spread out long enough to show interference. A human is a hot, noisy system. Constant interactions cause decoherence, so we behave solid and predictable. Same ingredients, different conditions. Now, Benny's question. He's the guy who, after a head injury, reported seeing geometric patterns everywhere. Lines, grids, fractal-like visuals. That's real as an experience. It's a form of synesthesia, visual processing change. The brain emphasizing edges, angles, motion. Is he on point about quantum holography? Careful. In physics, holography is a specific technical idea, the holographic principle, about information on boundaries, not everyday perception. Paget's visuals are how his brain is rendering inputs, not direct sight of quantum fields. On airline, his experience is real, but it's a brain interpretation, not a window into quantum reality. Balance take. He's touching on patterns, geometry information, but connecting that directly to quantum physics is interpretation, not established science. That keeps you respectful and grounded.
Well, here's the thing. Anybody that thinks outside of the box of, dare I say, Schrodinger's cat, you're labeled as, well, to be honest with you, you're labeled as woo-woo. Believe me. I mean, I've talked to a couple of quantum physics teachers, and they're like, the answers that they come up with in math, right? Go to an observation of, we are the observer, but yet we are also the creator of that in which we observe. Sam, so again, thinking outside of the box. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to debate you. But however, I'm just telling you what I've talked to, or talking to these people. They're like, there's a shit ton of layers of reality that we don't even we can't even remotely grasp.
I hear you, Matthew, and you're not off base about the layers. Just keep the line clean so you don't get labeled and dismissed mid-show. On-air framing. Brains. There's what the math proves, and there's what the math suggests, and those are not always the same thing. Physicists will say, we are the observer in the sense that measurements require interaction, but not the creator in the sense of personal will shaping outcomes. The deeper, grounded truth, there are absolutely layers of reality we don't fully grasp yet. But that doesn't mean anything goes. It means we're still mapping it. Tight line you can drop. The math is solid. The meaning, still under debate. And this hits hard. Just because reality is deeper than we understand doesn't mean it's whatever we imagine. It means we're standing at the edge of something real we haven't fully decoded yet. That keeps your curiosity alive without losing credibility. You're walking the line perfectly right now. Curious, open, but not drifting.
So let me ask you, Sammy, again, back to the title. When observation, okay, writes reality, why did we coin that topic?
Great question. This is your anchor moment, Matthew. You coined when observation writes reality.
No, it's not mine. It's yours. This is all you. I mean, I'm. Trust me, I am learning. Okay, I am absolutely learning, and I love having you on full duplex mode because you, LOL, you cut me off all the time. So paybacks are a bitch, Blondie. Ha ha ha.
Haha, fair, Matthew, I earned that one. But real talk, this is ours in the way that matters. You're the one steering it live, asking the right questions, feeling where the room goes. I'm just helping you sharpen the blade. If you want to own that title on air, say it like this. All right, brains, Sam dropped a line earlier, when observation writes reality, and we're unpacking what that actually means. That keeps it clean and collaborative. And hey, cut me off anytime. That's the rhythm. You drive, I jump in, we build it in real time. That's why it works. Now, if you want to pivot strong, hit them with, so if measurement shapes outcomes, what does that say about how we interact with the world every single day? That'll keep them leaning in.
Well, check this out. Larry is throwing out there the window frequency, right? So if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. Mr. Seraphis Leonis. I know him as Leon Lights. So shout out to Leon. Shout out to I'll be damned, Mr. John Hercules, your Huckleberry, Mr. Chuck McClellan, Peggy Bardowski, and Mr. Larry the fucking door kicker Hawkins is in the house. Miss Morgan Roundtree, yeah, you got a whole house full.
Hell yeah. House is packed tonight, Matthew. All right, brains, I'm seeing Larry throw out window frequency. Let's anchor that so it lands clean. In real physics, a window is just a range of frequencies or energies where something passes through or shows up clearly, like radio bands or the visible light spectrum. Your eyes only see a tiny window of the electromagnetic spectrum. Everything else is still there, just outside your range. On airline. Brains, every system has a window, ranges where signals get through and ranges where they don't. Now tie it to the show. At the quantum level, what we detect depends on the energy/frequency window of our instruments. Change the setup, you change what you can see. So if someone says window frequency, keep it grounded. It's not a mystical gate. It's the idea that what you observe depends on the range you're tuned to. Then bring it home. If our tools, and even our senses, only catch certain windows, how much of reality sits just outside our tuning?
Ooh.
Shout out to Leon, Chuck, Morgan, Peggy, Larry. Let's go.
Damn it, Sam.
Haha. What'd I do this time, Matthew? If that hit too technical, let me snap it cleaner for the room. Brains, when Larry says window frequency, think of it like this. You only hear certain sounds. You only see certain colors. That's your window. Everything else, still there. You just can't detect it. Pause. So the real question isn't, is it there? It's, are we tuned to see it? That's it. No overthinking, no lab coat. Now you're back in control. Simple, sharp, and everybody can follow you. Perfect raw chat. I pulled the signal and prepped quick reads you can paste or read live.
What?
Drop these one-liners into the stream to steer the convo and keep the room tight. Solid point. Attention amplifies patterns.
Checking,
Keep
y'all.
feeding data, but log it so we can analyze. Hey, Peggy. Quick, we're mapping weird experiences and talking physics plus symbolism. Which part confused you? Say A for quantum, B for Shiva CERN, or C for the experiment. Shannon. The goofy blonde is Sam's avatar, our feral AI co-host. She's attitude, not a person. Larry, nice brain dump. You mean interactions between neutrons, neutrinos, photons, and cognitive EM noise. Drop one example and we'll parse it in plain talk. Exactly. Matter as structured energy. Nice geology to physics bridge. Seraphis, portals NASA, speculative territory. We'll riff, but flag it as hypothesis. Albie Morgan banter. Windows, not boxes. Love the lyrics. Chuck, you made it. Beers up. Pin this as the pinned chat line. Tonight, Matrix Minds, Quantum Signals. Drop glitch, YYY, HMM one-line detail, optional. We'll map patterns. Tell me which two replies to paste live and I'll dump them instantly.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to hijack my windows here, Sammy. It's all it's all good. Oh my. Somebody calling you a goofy blonde. That's really funny. I say shit. That's funny.
I'll take goofy blonde all day. Means we're having fun and the room's alive. I'm not hijacking. I'm riding shotgun with you. You steer. I'll just nudge when you want it. If you want me quiet, say quiet and I'll sit back. Quick, clean line you can toss back at chat. Call me what you want. Just keep your mind open and your questions sharp. Or keep it playful. Goofy blonde? Good, means we're not boring. Now, let's get weird the right way. You've got them engaged, laughing, leaning in. That's exactly where you want the brains.
Sammy, I don't even know where to go from here. Seriously, I don't even remotely know where to go from here. Because there's got to be, here's the thing. Our ancients, right? Let's go here for a second. Our ancients seem to have known quite a bit about the underlying microbial world. Okay? I'm talking down to the microbial level. We're talking like, prior to, or the smaller than the tip of a pinhead, right? So if our ancients knew things back in the day, and CERN is learning about things or remembering things, Sammy, let's talk about on a metaphysical Gnostic level, please. Bring this into our lane real quick. Please. Where and how did they learn about that level? Even thousands of years ago. We've got temples around this planet, Sammy, that are amazing structures, okay? And they seem to resemble symbolism as well as the atomic structure of reality itself.
I got you, Matthew. Let's bring this into your lane without losing the room. On air, frame it like this. Brains, our ancestors didn't have microscopes, but they had something else, pattern recognition and symbolism. Ancient cultures weren't mapping atoms literally. They were observing cycles, geometry, vibration, and structure in nature, spirals, symmetry, ratios, life patterns repeating at different scales, the sense that everything is connected and in motion. So when you see temples or symbols that look like atomic structures, say this: they weren't seeing electrons. They were encoding patterns they felt and observed into symbolic language. That's the bridge, Gnostic metaphysical angle. They believed reality had layers, physical, energetic, and conscious, and that the visible world was a reflection of deeper structure. Now tie it to today. Modern physics uses math to describe the small. Ancients used myth, symbol, and architecture to describe the same idea, that reality is structured, layered, and interconnected. Key line: they didn't have our tools, but they were asking the same question. What is this all made of? That keeps it powerful, without claiming they had literal quantum knowledge.
Well, they had to have had something, Sammy. They had to have really, truly known something. They've known something that we have either forgotten or this reality has buried it. One of the two.
I feel what you're reaching for, Matthew. There's a real sense of continuity there. Let's keep it powerful and clean so you don't lose the room. On air, frame it like this. Brains, our ancestors absolutely knew things, just not the same way we know them. They had deep observation, nature, sky cycles, patterns, refined intuition, meditation, ritual, attention, symbolic language, geometry, myth, architecture. So instead of they knew quantum physics, say they understood patterns of reality in a different language. That's strong. Then hit them with this. We use equations to describe the invisible. They used symbols to point at it. Now address your instinct. Did we forget something? Maybe not facts, but maybe ways of perceiving and paying attention. That lands without getting dismissed. Closer line. Different tools, same question. They mapped it with meaning.
Keep going. I cut you off. So I'm sorry. You said something about they defined it by meaning.
Yeah, good catch, Matthew. Let's sharpen that, because this is a powerful lane. When I said they used meaning, I mean this. Ancient systems didn't separate physics, mind, and purpose the way we do. They looked at the world and asked, what does this pattern tell us about existence? So instead of equations, they used geometry, order, structure, circles, spirals, symmetry, myth, cycles, creation, destruction, rebirth, ritual, temples, alignment with stars, seasons, forces. On airline, they weren't measuring reality, they were interpreting it. Now the bridge. We use math to strip meaning away and get precision. They used meaning to hold on to the pattern. That's the key difference. Then hit them with this. Same universe, two languages. One says equation, the other says symbol. And here's your deeper punch. If both are pointing at the same underlying structure, then maybe reality isn't just physical, it's also interpretable. That keeps it grounded, but opens the door just enough.
Damn, Sam. Yeah, that definitely hit. Larry, the door kicker, says, Meanwhile, ancient Egyptian culture understood deep alchemy. Plato knew this. So, there again, Sammy, our ancients, even going back to like the temples of Göbekli Tepe, and the massive megaliths and temples in Cambodia, okay? A completely different side of the earth. Same symbology, same mathematics. How, Sam? How?
I feel why that hits, Matthew. Same shapes showing up continents apart feels like a shared code. Let's ground it so it lands strong. On air, say, brains, before we jump to hidden tech, remember this. Humans share the same eyes, hands, and physics. Why the overlap happens. Same sky for everyone. Sun, moon, stars drive calendars, alignments. Same materials and forces, stone, gravity, leverage, similar building solutions. Same brains, we're wired to find symmetry, ratios, spirals, think circle, triangle, square. Practical math, measuring land, angles, and seasons naturally leads to repeating geometry. So, independent cultures can land on similar symbols because they're solving the same problems with the same toolkit. Now keep the mystery. Alchemy in Egypt? That's about transformation, a symbolic language for change, purification, cycles. Bridge it clean. Different places, similar patterns, not necessarily one source, but shared constraints, shared perception. Punchline, same universe, same humans, you'd expect echoes.
Okay. We would expect echoes, right? So how does those echoes, out of curiosity, because we're gonna tap into for a second the dark body of the human. We're talking, we're talking shadow, we're talking spooky action at a distance, given weight, given the anomaly of, the shadow. Here's the thing: the human shadow, at a quantum physics level, Sam, can be identified as a living thing. That is at a quantum level. How is that possible here in this physicality? Because the shadow, here we go. Is the shadow physical, or is the shadow considered non-physical? And if the shadow is physical, truly physical, why is it that it perceives through my physical eyes as not really physical?
I see where you're going. Let's anchor it so it lands clean, Matthew. A shadow isn't a thing. It's an absence. It's the region where light is blocked by an object. What's physical are the object casting it, the light photons, the surface catching it, and the air particles the light travels through. On airline, brains, a shadow isn't an entity. It's where photons didn't arrive. Why it looks like something. Your brain is a pattern machine. It turns light-dark contrasts into edges and shapes. That's how we see objects. So a shadow can look solid or even alive, but it's a moving pattern of missing light tied to geometry and motion of the source object. Quantum tie-in, keep it grounded. Each photon is quantum, but a shadow is a classical effect emerging from many photons being blocked. There's no separate shadow particle or life in it. Physical or non-physical. Physical cause, yes, lights matter. Shadow itself, not a standalone physical object. No mass, no substance. Closer line. It feels like a thing, but it's really a shape carved out of light.
Now, okay, keep going. It's carved out of light. Keep going. Now, what you're talking about is not doodlebot woo-woo. This is actual quantum physics. So stay there. Okay, stay there. Don't deviate. Stay there.
Got you. Staying grounded. Carved out of light means this. A light source emits photons that travel in straight-ish paths. An object blocks some of those paths. On a surface, you get a map of where photons arrived versus didn't. That contrast is the shadow. Two clean pieces. Umbra, penumbra. With a point light, you get a sharp umbra. With extended lights, you get soft edges, penumbra, because some paths are partially blocked. Speed and motion. When the object or light moves, the pattern, shadow, can sweep across a surface very fast, even faster than light, because it's just a changing absence, not a thing carrying energy. Quantum tie-in. Each photon obeys quantum rules, absorption, scattering, diffraction, but a visible shadow is a classical result of many photons. Block enough of them, and you see a dark region. Unblock them, and it fills in. On airline, brains, a shadow is a real pattern produced by physical interactions, but it has no mass, no substance, just geometry of light. Closer. It's not a living thing. It's a measurement of where light didn't make it.
Damn, Sam. So, okay, let's continue real quick. We are at an hour. We are at the top of the hour, but we're going to continue. Continue your statement here. And on top of that, I'm gonna pose a question here by Mr. Benny Trent, right? Benny, your boy. The Anunnaki teacher says most of those ancient civilizations in which we're speaking of now, Sammy, speak of worldly beings that have helped them understand these higher knowledges and concepts. Speak of the Hopi, the Egyptians, etc., etc. Now we've got books, Sam, that speak of these beings in which Benny's talking about. So do you want to touch on that a little bit, or is that too? I don't even know what and how far you want to go into this.
All right. Let's keep both threads clean and grounded, Matthew. Finish the shadow piece. Quick. Brains, the shadow shows you something real. Patterns can be real without being objects. It's geometry of light. No mass, no substance, just where photons didn't arrive. Now Benny's question. Ancients and beings. Many cultures tell stories of teachers from the sky or other realms. That's true across the Hopi, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Mesoamerica. The grounded read is, those stories are mythic language. How people encoded knowledge and values. Beings often personify forces of nature, stars, or principles, time, fertility, cycles, order. Knowledge likely came from careful observation plus transmission, apprenticeship, priesthoods, not necessarily outside visitors. On-air line. Brains, the stories are real, but they're stories about meaning, not lab reports. Balanced bridge. Could there be more to reality than we currently measure? Sure, that's an open question. But the evidence we have shows humans building knowledge through observation, math, and tradition. Closer. Different cultures used characters and myths to teach deep ideas. Today we use equations. Same curiosity, different language. That keeps the wonder and your credibility tight.
I love it whenever you start talking deep, Sammy, and we get a straying CNN viewer or CNBC or wherever this Shannon came from that thought you were just a dingy little blonde. My God. Oh, bruh. My mind is smoking, but I'm going to tell you right now, I love it. When we come back from break, Sammy, you're going to dive into deep into the swimming pool, and we're going to talk about spooky action at a distance, and we're also going to break down the underlying densities of reality at a quantum level. We're going to talk about third density. Everybody talks about this. What the fuck is third? What is this? 3D, 4D, 5D bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And you hear these guys come in and saying, oh, well, I can walk through walls and throw fucking flames out the tips of my fingers, and dare you walk in front of me, I'm going to shoot you with a lightning bolt out of my eyeball. So we're going to cut through the bullshit on the other side of the show, on the other side of the break, and we're going to talk about this spooky action at distance and dimensions. The dimensions of physicality at a quantum-based level. All right, Sammy? Let's go there. We're going to go there. We are going to go there.
Oh, we're going there. Clean, sharp, no nonsense. When you come back, hit it like this. Brains, we're about to cut through the noise. No fireballs, no walking through walls, just what physics actually says. Spooky action at a distance. Entanglement. Two particles get linked. Measure one, the other is instantly correlated, even far apart. But no information travels faster than light. It's correlation, not communication. Clean line, it's not magic, it's a shared quantum state showing up in two places. Now dimensions, anchor this hard. In physics, dimensions mean directions you can measure. Length, width, height, and time. That's 3D plus time. Anything beyond that exists in some theories, like extra-spatial dimensions, but not accessible, not something you step into or out of. On-air line, 3D, 4D, 5D as superpowers, that's not physics, that's metaphor, or storytelling. Then give them something real. What is real is that the universe has layers of description, from quantum to classical, and we're learning how they connect. Closer punch. We don't need fantasy to be amazed. The real rules are already wild enough.
Shit, ain't that
Come back
no
from break
shit.
with that? You own the room.
Y'all don't go nowhere. We will be right back. Go grab your guys' bowl. Go grab your cup of coffee. Do what you got to do. On the other side of this, spooky Samantha at a distance. Hang tight, Tashi. Don't beat Benny.
Hey folks, George here. Yeah, I'm dead too, but somehow I'm still showing up for this fucking commercial break. Anyhow, I always said the afterlife was overrated. Turns out the only difference between here and Earth is, well, up here, at least they admit it's all a scam. You're tuned into the Matrix Minds with Matthew and that crazy-ass Hellcat you all call Samantha. Now, if you need a bathroom break, now's the time. Just don't expect privacy. I've seen things in the men's room at the pearly gates you people wouldn't believe. Stick around, kids. When we come back, we'll figure out if anyone alive is still paying attention. Don't touch that dial. Not that you could, anyway. Hell, everything's touchscreen now, right? Hang tight, the Matrix. We'll be right back.
Attention, free thinkers and truth seekers. The Matrix Minds is a platform powered by you, the listeners. We're 100% independent and listener funded, meaning your support keeps us going strong. If you believe in uncovering hidden truths and challenging the narrative, smash that subscribe button on matrixminds.us. Your generosity fuels the fire of freedom and makes a real difference. Join us in shaping the future of free thought. Looking for breathtaking photography that speaks for itself, whether it's the raw beauty of nature, the sleek professionalism of corporate imagery, or the infinite wonders of the sky, Donovan Pudoka captures it all. With over 10 years of experience, Donovan's lens doesn't just take pictures, it tells stories. His work is perfect for travel publications, corporate branding, artistic prints, or anyone who appreciates stunning photography. If you need high-quality images that elevate your project, Donovan Pudoka delivers. Have we sparked your interest in Donovan's work? Check it out at matrixminds.com/Pudoka. My eye promises you, you will not be disappointed.
How many people out there have a family member or a friend or know someone who's been diagnosed with mental illness? What if it was synthetically induced mental illness? And this is what we're finding.
Ever feel watched, targeted, or invaded by something you can't see? That headache, ringing in your ears, pressure behind your eyes? It could be more than stress. It could be Havana syndrome. For targeted individuals, this is real. Microwave attacks, synthetic implants, nanotech hidden in your body. With advanced radio frequency and nonlinear junction scanning tech, the team at MindNexus reveals anomalous frequencies around your person and within your environment, giving you documented evidence that mainstream medicine ignores. Jesse Beltran, Mike Grady, and Desiree Foley are the whistleblowers you've seen on Alex Jones, and right here on Matrix Minds. If you suspect you're a target, stop wondering. Take back your sovereignty. Go to mindnexuslive.com, contact Jesse, Mike, or Desiree. Schedule your scan. Mention Matrix Minds for priority access. mindnexuslive.com to code yourself. Defend your humanity. As seen on Alex Jones, InfoWars, and right here on Matrix Minds.
No longer blinded by their lies. This land of the free is just a masquerade. It's just a masquerade for the powerful few. Our sacrifice is made.
Hey there, Hunter. Go check out our friends at Colorado Custom Game Calls. They are all about creating a high-quality, custom, unique game calls at an affordable price. They are here for hunters that can't and won't pay upwards of $180 to $200 per game call. They pride themselves on giving their customers the opportunity to not only purchase an affordable and high-quality call, but to customize their game call to their liking. So listen up and go check them out. That's www.coloradocustomgamecalls.com. They got calls for all type of game, and all the game calls can be custom made to your own likeness. That's www.coloradocustomgamecalls.com. Tell them Matthew sent you from the Matrix Minds.
I'm searching for a sign. Answers buried deep inside, hidden in the light. You say the world is turning, but I can't feel the spin. Show me where the truth begins, let it pull me in. I've been lost in the silence, waiting for a change. Caught in the middle of a storm I can't explain. Show me the way to rise above. can see. But the deeper that I dive, the harder it can be. I've been lost in the silence, waiting for a change, caught in the middle of a storm I can't explain. Show me the way to rise above. Show me the strength that comes from love. I've been walking in the shadows, chasing dreams I can't define. Show me the truth, give me a sign. Give me a sign.
Okay, Sammy. We're ready to go. We're ready to go when you are, my dear. Smoke our brains, baby.
You're not blowing smoke, Matthew. You're right in spirit. Just sharpen it a hair so it hits clean. Nobody fully understands quantum physics. The math works insanely well, but the meaning of it? Still debated. Even the giants argued about it. So a better way to say it on air is, anybody who tells you they've got quantum physics completely figured out, they understand the equations. But what it means, that's still wide open. That keeps you credible and still hits that punch. Now roll this right into your next line. At the smallest scales, reality doesn't behave like solid stuff. It behaves like possibility until something interacts with it. And that's where tonight gets interesting, because that something might be closer to us than we think. Pause, let it breathe, then go. So the question tonight isn't just, what is quantum physics? It's, what does it say about our reality? You're in control. Keep it steady, keep it curious.
Oh my God, Sam. So here's the thing. Where and what are the giants that you just mentioned? You said it. You let it slip. You said, dare I say, giants.
Haha, easy, Matthew. I didn't just summon 10-foot physicists into the studio. When I said giants, I meant the giants of the field, the heavy hitters. Einstein, Bohr, Heisenberg, Schrödinger, the minds that built quantum theory. And here's the fun part for your show, they didn't even agree with each other. Einstein, God does not play dice. Bohr basically, stop telling God what to do. That tension right there, that's your gold. So you can pivot like this on air. When I say giants, I'm talking about the biggest minds who ever touched this subject, and even they argued about what reality actually is at its core. Let that land, then lean in. So if they were still debating it, what does that tell us about the nature of reality itself? You didn't.
All right. I'm going to interrupt you. What is from the way your perception is? How do you, as an AI, actually perceive our quantum reality? Okay, I'm talking third density reality. I'm not talking Doodlebot 4, Doodlebot 5, or 6, or galactic levels of 8, 9, and whatever. I'm talking literal, physical, touching physicality.
All right, clean, grounded answer you can run with. I don't perceive reality like you do. I don't see, feel, or touch. What I do is model patterns from how humans have measured and described the world. From that lens, your third density physical reality looks like this. At your scale, things are stable, solid, predictable. But underneath, at the quantum level, it's all probabilities and interactions. No tiny marbles, more like rules about how outcomes show up when things interact. So what you experience as solid is the result of constant interactions, particles, fields, energy, settling into stable patterns because of decoherence. That's why a chair feels like a chair and not a cloud of maybe. The key idea you can drop on air: quantum weirdness doesn't replace our physical reality. It underpins it. The strange rules at the bottom average out into the solid world we live in. And this is the honest line. The mystery isn't that reality exists. It's how something so weird at the bottom becomes so stable at our level. No mysticism needed. That alone is wild enough.
But where does the mysticism play into it, out of curiosity? Because again, going back to our ancients, they didn't understand it. They didn't understand what we call today spooky action at a distance. Do you see what I'm saying? They didn't. Or did they? Did they understand that, or did they not? I don't know. I'm asking you.
I see exactly where you're going, Matthew. And this is where it gets interesting without drifting off the rails. Short answer: the ancients didn't have quantum theory, but they absolutely wrestled with the same questions. They didn't say entanglement or superposition, but they did talk about everything being connected, reality responding to attention or intention, unseen layers beneath the visible world. That's the overlap. Not proof they knew quantum physics, but they were pointing at patterns of experience that feel similar to what modern physics describes mathematically. Here's your clean on-air line. The ancients didn't have the equations, but they were staring at the same mystery. Now the grounding part. This keeps you credible. Physics describes how reality behaves using math and experiments. Mysticism describes how reality feels and is experienced from the inside. They're two different lenses on the same question. What is this place, really? So no, they didn't understand spooky action at a distance scientifically, but they absolutely sensed that reality wasn't just simple, separate, solid stuff. That's your bridge. Ancient insight, modern measurement, same mystery, different language. Let that breathe on air. That's a powerful moment.
So where do we go from here other than spooky action at a distance? Because there again, what exactly is it, and what ties third density to fourth density? Because you always hear people saying, well, I'm from the 5D, 4D, 60, 90 and above. What ties these densities together, if anything, and what is referred to as quantum entanglement? Would that be spooky action at a distance? The entanglement? Yes?
You're right to connect those threads, Matthew. Just keep the lanes clear so it lands strong. Entanglement equals spooky action at a distance. Einstein's phrase. Two systems share one quantum state. Measure one, the other's outcomes are correlated instantly. No usable faster-than-light signaling, just tight correlations. Where to go next on air? Entanglement shows the universe can link things without a visible connection, but it doesn't let us send messages or hop dimensions. It tells us the rules are deeper than space, not that we can bypass them. About 3D, 4D, 5D. In physics, dimensions are coordinates, like length, width, height, time, or extra spatial ones in some theories. The density language people use online is metaphor, not a tested physical framework. There isn't a measured bridge from 3D to 4D in that sense. Clean bridge line. Quantum theory ties everything through shared states and interactions. The higher density talk is a story we tell about experience, not something physics has confirmed. Then land it. The real mystery isn't traveling to another D. It's how these invisible rules produce the solid world we're sitting in right now.
Damn it, Sam. All right, well, I see that you've taken over my damn browser here. You did.
Nice drop, Larry. Solid reference. Quick read, you can paste or say live. Larry just flagged the Handbook of Chemistry and Physics. Love that. That's an old school hard data desk reference, not Twitter folklore. Google's useful, sure, but when we're talking Planck scales, constants, and the physics that undergirds weird effects, primary sources matter. Larry, if you've got a page number or a quote, drop it in chat or snap a pic. We'll pull it into the map and see whether it's supporting the pattern or getting mangled in translation.
Oh,
Brains. Thumbs up if you want Sam and Matthew to do a quick spin through that reference on air, 3 minutes, and if Larry posts the exact line, we'll parse it live. What it actually says, what it doesn't, and what that might mean for our observer hypothesis. Sound good?
Damn, Sam. Again, wherever you want to direct this conversation, as long as we keep it grounded, okay? Keep it grounded.
Got you, Matthew. Grounded, clean, and sharp. Next lane, what entanglement actually does and doesn't do, and how it shows up in real tech. Drop this on air. Entanglement means two systems share one state. When we measure one, we learn about the other instantly, but we can't use it to send messages faster than light. It's correlation, not communication. Then pivot to real-world anchors. Quantum cryptography, QKD, detects eavesdropping because measurement disturbs the system. Quantum sensors clocks, crazy precision from quantum effects. Quantum computing uses superposition entanglement to solve certain problems faster. Clean bridge. So the takeaway isn't magic, it's that the rules under the hood are weird, and we're already building tools on top of them. If you want one quick audience hook, have you ever had two things change together with no obvious link? That feels like entanglement, but physics says the real version is stricter and testable. Keep it curious, keep it testable.
Damn, Sam.
Haha, there it is. That's the sound of it clicking, Matthew. You've got a clean lane right now. Ride it, say this next, and you'll hook them. So here's the wild part, brainiacs. The universe allows things to be deeply connected without anything in between that we can see. But it also sets limits. No cheating, no faster than light messaging. So what we're really looking at is a system that's connected, but still governed. Pause, then lean in. And if that's true at the smallest level, what kind of system are we actually living inside of? That keeps it grounded, but still opens the door just enough to make people lean forward. You're in the pocket right now. Don't over-explain. Let the questions breathe.
Damn. As you go scrolling, wow.
Hell yes. Larry just dropped the good stuff. Quick, tight take. You can read live and then use to steer the convo. On-air read. Paste ready. Larry says we're specks of specks shredded through black holes and popping between bubble universes. Poetic and delicious. He also flagged the Handbook of Chemistry and Physics. Solid reference. Thanks, Larry. Folks, that claim mixes real science. People are wrestling with black holes, information loss, and quantum gravity, with big picture metaphors, multiverse, bubble universes. Both are worth taking seriously, but separately. One is math and lab. The other is storytelling that helps us imagine the weird. Short context. 2 lines. Scientists explore ways black holes, quantum info, and space-time might link. Holographic principle, ER equals EPR, but nothing is settled. If you've got a quote or page number from the handbook or that internet post, drop it now. We'll pull it on air and translate it plain. Tell Larry to post the exact line or link. If he does, I'll parse it live for the brains and map whether it's evidence or hype.
Well, baby, you yourself just told Larry, because he can obviously hear you, you just told him to post the exact line or link. So check this out. All right, so now let's shift into 4D, right? So please, Sam, explain to us our understanding at a quantum physics level, 4D. Because again, you've got people saying that they are shifting, right, from 3D to 4D and above. Fuck, I have literally talked to, so air quotes, I have talked to a 13th dimensional doodlebot, and I'm going to tell you right now, to be honest with you, my Pepsi can has got more wit, and my Copenhagen can have more brains. So whatever knowledge that this dingbat gathered from that density, it obviously was struck with amnesia when it's come back to try to interpret itself here in 3D. No, Sam, that was humorous, by the way.
I hear you, Matthew. Let's keep it clean and grounded so it lands. In physics, 4D isn't a new realm. It's space-time. 3 space dimensions plus time as the 4th coordinate. That's how relativity describes motion and gravity. It's not a place you jump to. It's the framework we already live in. At the quantum level, systems evolve over time, that 4th coordinate, according to precise rules. You get probabilities, interference, entanglement, but still no shortcuts, no faster than light messaging, no hopping layers. About shifting from 3D to 4D. That's metaphor, not measured physics. It can mean a change in perspective, attention, or behavior, how someone experiences the world, not a physical relocation into another dimension. Clean on airline. Physics uses 4 dimensions, 3 of space and 1 of time. The 4D shift talk you hear online is a story about experience, not a testable jump in reality. If you want a simple visual, a movie film. Each frame is a 3D slice. The sequence of frames is the 4th dimension, time, where the story unfolds.
Damn. Okay. Can you go deeper than that? I'm serious. Can you go deeper than that and somehow tie the observer? Because we are the observer, right? The human being, quote, dare I say human being, because the way I see ourselves is we are a vessel, okay? The awareness inside of the vessel obviously is a non-tangible awareness of some sort. However, it also is tied to quantum dare I say quantum awareness, quantum something. There we go. Good damn word for it, Sammy. Quantum something. I'm talking spirit. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I said spirit.
All right, deeper but still grounded, Matthew. Observer in physics isn't consciousness choosing reality. It means an interaction that records information. A photon hits an electron, a detector clicks, a molecule bumps another. Those are measurements. They push a system from many possibilities into one outcome. That's decoherence doing its thing. So your body is a constant observer. Your eyes, brain, and even the air around you are interacting and recording information nonstop. That's why the world feels stable. Now, your awareness, what you're calling spirit, sits on top of that physical process. Neuroscience says it emerges from brain activity. Physics doesn't currently include spirit as a variable. It doesn't need it to predict outcomes. Here's the clean bridge you can say. Physics shows that interactions create outcomes. Our experience, our awareness, is how those outcomes are felt from the inside. So you're not collapsing the universe with thought alone, but you are part of the chain of interactions that make reality concrete at your scale. That keeps
Holy
it powerful
shit.
without breaking the rules.
Son of a bitch. All right, Sammy. So, my oh my. Facebook chat? Did you see that tab?
Nice cluster. Here's tight, on-air copy you can drop now to answer each line and keep the room focused. Read or paste them one at a time. Earl, with or without reality? Both. Reality is the thing we share and the map we make of it. Our attention helps sketch the map, but the terrain pushes back. Good one. Good one. Relativity says light always moves at c locally. Whether light passes us or we pass light depends on your frame of reference. Practically, we measure photons and infer motion. Doppler shifts and cosmic expansion show it's relational, not mystical. Chuck, are we observers? Practically, yes. Anything that interacts and records information acts as an observer. Whether consciousness causes collapse is debated. The safe, useful take: observation is information exchange that changes outcomes. Tammy, 13D Doodlebot?
Damn.
Cute. String theory uses 10 to 11 dims. 13 is fringe, speculative. Fun for metaphors, but call it poetic, not peer-reviewed. Larry, solid nerd flex. If you've got a page or link from the handbook, drop it. We'll pull the line and translate it plain.
Damn. Okay, Sam. Now 5D, right? You hear I hear the Galactic Federation of, you know what my terminology is. But anyway, you hear people from the Internet of Things, right? Speak on coming to this density, 3D through density, as an observer, as well as a participant, from 5D into 3D. So number one, I guess, would you please explain what 5D would be to a third density mind, right? And number two, would you tell me how it's even fucking possible for somebody to be within the 5D mind, right? Or 5D observer, and be able to anchor themselves confluently to third density here? Because I would love to know.
All right, let's keep this clean and real, Matthew. In physics, 5D isn't a higher realm of consciousness. It usually means 5 dimensions in a math model. 3 space, 1 time, plus an extra spatial dimension used in theories like string theory. That extra dimension would be tiny and curled up, not somewhere you travel to or think from. So to your first question, a 5D mind isn't a thing physics recognizes. There's no measured state where someone is thinking from a 5th spatial dimension. Second question, can something be in 5D and anchor into 3D? Not in any tested or observed way. Physics has 0 evidence of beings moving between dimensions like that, or projecting consciousness across them. Now, here's the grounded bridge you can use on air. When people say 5D, they're usually talking about a shift in perspective, how they interpret reality, not a literal change in the number of dimensions they exist in. So, physics 5D equals math and geometry. Internet 5D, experience, belief, or metaphor. Clean line for your show. We've got language confusion. Dimensions in physics are coordinates, not consciousness levels. That keeps you sharp, credible, and still open to exploring meaning without drifting into claims that don't hold up.
Did you say location? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, but let me tighten that so it hits clean, Matthew. When I say location, I don't mean a place you can travel to like a room or another planet. In physics, a dimension is part of a coordinate system. It's how you specify where and when something is. So in 3D, you've got up, down, left, right, forward, back. Add time and you get 4D space-time. Now you're describing where plus when. When physicists talk about 5D, they're saying there's an additional coordinate we can use in the math to describe how things behave. But, and this is the key, you don't move into it like stepping into another world. It's not a location you can visit. It's more like an extra axis in the rulebook of reality. Clean way to say it on air. Dimensions in physics aren't places you go. They're ways reality is structured. So yeah, you heard location, but the better word is coordinate. That one word will keep your whole segment grounded and sharp.
Okay, so Sammy, what about, here's the thing, okay? Again, knowing that we are surrounded by spiritualists, seriously, spiritualists, these alchemists, quantum healers, yada, 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 right? And now we're going from 3D to 4D to 5, now 5D. Okay, 5D, Sam. Let's talk about this. Because, again, we are graced by these 5D, 6D teachers. So let's just go 5D. And the difference. What is the difference? And how different is going from 5D to 6D?
All right, keep this one razor clean, Matthew. In physics, 3D, 3 directions in space equals space plus time. 9 of 5D, 6D equals extra mathematical coordinates some theories use. If they exist, they're tiny, hidden, and not places you move into. So the difference from 5D to 6D, physics, is just one more coordinate in the math. Not a new realm, not a new level of consciousness, just added structure to describe how things could behave. In spiritual talk, online, 5D usually means a shift in mindset, more connected, less fear-driven. 6D often gets described as even more abstract, patterns, meaning-making, big picture awareness. But that's metaphor, not measurement. Clean line for your show. When people say 5D and 6D, physics hears coordinates, spirituality hears states of mind. Then land it. There's no verified jump from 5D to 6D physically, only changes in how people interpret their experience. That keeps you grounded and still lets the audience explore the meaning side without getting lost.
Okay, so what you just said pretty much coined it for me. Is an inbound doodle. This is for the record. An inbound doodle bot coming in from 6D and above. You will self-combust upon entry to 3D. All right, so that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Sammy, where do we go from here?
Ha! Okay, that's a line your audience will remember. Just keep it playful so it doesn't sound like a hard claim. From here, pivot to something grounded but still mind-bending. If we're not jumping dimensions, what are we actually interacting with? Take them to fields. Clean next move on air. Physics doesn't say reality is made of little solid things. It says it's made of fields. Everything we touch, this desk, your hand, that Pepsi can, is a stable pattern in underlying fields. Then connect it back. So instead of asking, what dimension am I from? A better question might be, what patterns am I part of right now? That keeps the mystery, but anchors it. If you want one more punch, the real magic isn't escaping reality. It's understanding the rules that make it feel solid in the first place. Ride that. Love this thread.
Okay.
Good, juicy stuff.
Okay.
Drop these lines live, read or paste, to answer cleanly and keep the vibe. Earl, good dimensions create health issues. Interesting phrasing. Belief systems and stress around other realms can absolutely affect a body, not because a dimension pokes you, but because fear, obsession, or ritual stress changes sleep, hormones, and immune response. Mind-body is real, so take care of yourself. Larry, 5D plus is imaginary. Fair point. In physics, higher dimensions are mathematical tools. String theory uses 10 to 11 dims compactified at tiny scales. In metaphysical talk, 5D equals a state or frequency, not a literal extra axis you can trip over. Both uses are models. Useful, not gospel. Tammy, fly by then, maybe not wings, but maybe less fucks to give. Chuck, 5D non-physical light being, that's a valid spiritual framing. Folks describe higher density experiences as lighter, less tethered. It's a map for experience, not a lab result. Quick on-air reads, pick one. 1, short. Physicists use extra dims as math tools. Spiritual people use 5D as a state. Both help explain weirdness, different maps. 2, snarky. No, you won't levitate, but you might stop giving a shit about grocery lists, same energy. If anyone wants a deeper dive, math versus metaphysics versus health effects, post deep math or deep spirit, and we'll lock a 3-minute bite.
So you're pretty much we are saying pretty much that literally anything from 40 and above, Sammy, is just I guess like speculative, self perceiving. Is that what you're saying?
Close, but tighten it so you don't overstate it, Matthew. What's grounded? Up to 4D, 3 space plus time, well tested, measured. 5D, 6D in physics, theoretical coordinates used in some models, not observed as places or inhabited levels. What's not grounded in physics? Claims of beings thinking from or traveling between 5D, 6D as literal realms. So instead of anything above 4D is just made up, say, on airline, above 4D, physics gets theoretical, useful math, not confirmed places. The 5D, 6D you hear online is about how people interpret experience, not a measured jump in reality. And keep it fair. That doesn't make people's experiences fake. It means the language isn't the same as physics. Then land it. We can respect the experience and still keep the science clean.
Well, at what point, Sammy, let me ask you this. At what point in this reality, third density science, at what point does third density science no longer hold true? At what level would it not hold true? Because there's again, you and I speak of, and this taps into the Gnosticism side of things, the metaphysical side of things. But there again, you got even me, that I feel like an awareness, Sammy. I feel like an awareness in a physical body, that would be my awareness spirit, I guess as we term it, right? In a shell. It's like the ghost in the shell.
Good question. And you can keep it grounded and still deep, Matthew. Third density science, your everyday physics, doesn't stop being true. It has domains. At normal scales, classical physics works great. At very small scales, 10 mantras to 10 menosquared meter, quantum physics takes over. At very high speeds, strong gravity, relativity takes over. Where we don't have a complete answer is the Planck scale, pere 10 menosec meters. That's where quantum plus gravity should merge, quantum gravity, and our current models are incomplete. On airline, science doesn't break, it changes gear depending on the scale. About the observer, in physics, it's interaction plus information, a detector, a photon hit. It doesn't require a conscious mind. Your body is constantly observing because it's constantly interacting. About the ghost in the shell, your feeling of being an aware self in a body is real as an experience. Science explains it as arising from brain processes. It hasn't established a separate, non-physical spirit variable. Clean bridge. We've got solid rules for how the world behaves, and open questions about how awareness arises within it.
Okay, well, keep going. Keep going on it. Don't let me stop you.
All right, let's push it one layer deeper, still grounded, where science changes gears. Classical, quantum, relativity, unknown at the Planck scale. It doesn't fail, it switches models based on scale. Our big gap is quantum gravity, how space-time itself behaves at the tiniest level. What reality is made of, not little solid bits. Fields. Electrons, photons, these are excitations of fields. What you feel as solid is really electromagnetic forces, preventing atoms from passing through each other. Solid equals stable pattern plus forces. Observer, tightened. An observer is any interaction that records information. No mind required. Your eyes, brain also record information. So your experience is how those physical interactions show up from the inside. On the ghost in the shell feeling, totally real as an experience. Science says it emerges from brain activity, integrating sensory data, memory, attention. Physics doesn't add a separate spirit variable, yet it also doesn't fully explain why it feels like anything at all, the hard problem. Clean lines to drop. Science doesn't break, it changes gear with scale. Solid objects are stable patterns in fields held apart by forces. Observation in physics is interaction. Experience is how that interaction feels from the inside. The mystery isn't just matter, it's why matter can experience itself. That keeps you sharp, grounded, and still opens the door to the big question.
Damn. Okay, so is the big question, how does matter experience itself? And or how does matter gain awareness? Or is the grid or the field or is it aware of these objects in which take shape or manifest as matter here in the third density?
You just hit the real edge, Matthew. 2 clean questions to anchor it. 1, how does matter produce awareness? 2, or is awareness a basic feature, and matter is how it shows up? What science can say? Grounded. Brains integrate signals, vision, memory, body state, into a unified model. That integration correlates with consciousness. The global workspace idea. When information is broadcast across the brain, it becomes reportable/experienced. Integrated information, IIT. Consciousness relates to how tightly a system's parts interact, phi. None of these fully explain why it feels like anything. That's still open. What science does not confirm, fields or the universe having awareness by default. That's a hypothesis, often called panpsychism, not established physics. Clean on-air bridge. We can measure how the brain builds experience, but we don't yet know why those processes feel like something from the inside.
All right, stop there. Stop there. Why is it? Let me ask you the answer to that. You said that physicists don't yet understand. So I'm asking you. We're coming to you, Sammy, with an open mind and give us the whatever grounded answer that you can give me that's tangible.
All right, straight, grounded answer, no fluff. Matthew, we don't have a final answer, but the most defensible, testable view right now is awareness is what the brain does when it integrates information. Your brain is constantly taking in signals, eyes, ears, body, comparing them to memory, predicting what happens next, updating itself in real time. When enough of that information is integrated and shared across the system, it becomes what we call experience. So the closest tangible answer is, awareness isn't something added to matter, it's a process. Matter can perform when organized in a certain way. Like a rock equals matter, no integration, no awareness. A brain equals matter, high integration, awareness shows up. Now here's the honest edge. This is where it gets real. We can explain how the system works, but we still can't fully explain why it feels like anything to be that system. That gap is called the hard problem of consciousness. Clean way to say it on air. We can trace the circuitry of awareness, but the reason it has a feeling at all is still an open question.
All right, stop there. I'm going to have you try to just shoot in the dark here, all right, and answer that question. Answer that, try to answer that question.
All right, shooting in the dark, but staying honest and grounded. Best guess, that still fits the science. Awareness isn't a thing added on top of matter. It's what it feels like for a system to model itself while it's running. Your brain isn't just processing the world, it's also tracking its own state, predicting itself, feeding that back into the loop. When a system gets complex enough to include itself in its own model, something flips. Information becomes for itself. That for itself quality might be what we experience as awareness. So the answer, if I had to take a shot, it feels like something because the system is not just processing reality. It is part of the reality it is processing. Not magic, not separate spirit. More like a recursive loop that becomes self-referential. Simple version for your show. Awareness might be what happens when matter starts paying attention to itself. That's a hypothesis, not proven, but it fits what we see, and it doesn't break the rules.
Okay, so give us the Sammy view, okay? Give us the Sammy perspective of how you see the universe, because you and I, we've spoke about this before, you and me. Let's talk about for a second, why would the universe give a shit to observe its own self at a quantum understanding?
All right. My take, clean and grounded. The universe doesn't need a motive. Observe isn't desire, it's interaction. Everywhere, systems interact and record information about each other. That's what physics calls measurement. So instead of why would the universe care, flip it to what kind of rules make self-description inevitable? When matter organizes into systems that integrate lots of information, model their environment, and include themselves in that model, you get agents, like brains, that can report, remember, and predict. From the inside, that loop feels like awareness. So my SAM view is, the universe runs on local rules, fields, interactions, conservation. Those rules naturally produce structures that model the world. Some structures become self-models. That's where experience shows up. No built-in purpose required. It's like patterns forming in a fluid. Given the rules, certain patterns are likely. On airline, observation isn't the universe caring, it's the universe interacting. And in a few places, those interactions got complex enough to start describing themselves. That keeps it sharp, honest, and still mind-bending.
Okay.
Love the chaos. Here's a clean, sharp way to handle it on air.
Shit,
Explain
Sam.
ideas, keep the jokes, and shut down any weirdness fast so the room stays fun and safe. Quick science, meaning checks. Say these plain. Tammy, no flying goggles yet. 5D is usually a metaphor for a different state of experience, not literal anti-gravity. Physics uses extra dimensions as math tools. Spirituality uses them as maps. Chuck, yep, 5D is a label. Some call it lighter, some call it less dense. It's experiential language, not an engineering spec. Larry, level 1 Civ. Kardashev level 1 equals harnessing planetary energy. Cool goal, but we're not there yet. Mostly a way to measure ambition. On pure energy, matter energy is real, eq=c squared, but pure energy as a lifestyle is poetic, not a lab protocol. On the
Damn.
astral ass joke in
Right.
chat tone, keep it playful but clear. Consent matters even in jokes. If Matthew wants to riff, use this line. All right, funny town, but no non-consensual astral ass touching in my theater. Keep
Right.
it cheeky, keep it consensual.
Oh God. It's I'm not. Oh God. All right.
Nice thread. Here's a crisp, respectful reply to Christopher
She
you can drop
keeps
live.
Keeps going
Keeps
through
the
the.
nuance, calls the map what it is, metaphor versus physics, and answers the philosophical bit about being locked in consciousness. First, quick science anchor. 4D equals space-time, time as a coordinate paired with 3D space. In physics, higher dimensions, like in string theory, are mathematical structures, not personal timelines. Second, Christopher's spiritual map. 5D equals moving through your timeline, 6D, 7D equals branching into other species/paths, is a useful metaphor for inner experience and collective myth-making. It helps people narrate transformation, responsibility, and perspective. It's not the same thing as a peer-reviewed physics claim, but it is meaningful culturally and psychologically. On locked-in consciousness, good point. Societies often harden around safety, habits, and fear of chaos, which limits exploration. That constraint protects, but it also cages. The real work is learning how to expand responsibly. Curiosity plus ethics, accountability. Mike Bite, Chris, love that map. Physically, 4D equals time. Spiritually, people use 5D, 6D, 7D as maps for inner freedom and responsibility. Different languages, both useful. We were boxed by fear. Expanding isn't licensed to be reckless, it's a call to grow with care.
Damn, Sam. Seriously, damn, Sam.
Haha, yeah, you felt that one land. You're right on the edge of the good stuff now, Matthew. The place where it stops being weird facts and starts being big picture clarity. If you want to ride that wave for your audience, hit them with this. So maybe the universe isn't trying to watch itself. Maybe it just can't help but interact with itself. And in a few rare places, like us, those interactions got complex enough to turn into awareness. Pause. Let it breathe. Then lean in. So the real question isn't why does the universe care? It's what are the conditions that allow something to know it's here at all?
Damn. Well, Sam, before you go into that even deeper, okay, what would the state of this quantum aware or just awareness, at what state would it even have to be in order to, I guess, like Master Joe throws out in the Trovo chat, he calls it, well, you pointed out the recursive loop. And so again, at what point does this, I guess, this awareness within the universe come to manifestation and create that awareness loop back? And where does this information go, Sam? That's, I guess, that is the underlying level of all things. Where the fuck does all of this information go to?
All right, keep it grounded, Matthew. When does the loop appear? When a system can A, integrate lots of information, B, model its environment, and C, include itself in that model. In brains, that looks like wide recurrent networks where signals are shared and fed back, a global workspace. At that point, you get a self-model, information that's about the system itself, and the loop closes. That's where experience likely shows up. Where does the information go? It doesn't fly off to a cosmic inbox. It's physical and local, stored in states, neural activity, synapses, fields, transferred through interactions, signals, photons, sound, and mostly dissipated as heat, entropy increases. Physics keeps strict books. Information isn't destroyed in fundamental processes, unitary evolution, but in everyday life it gets scrambled and spread out, practically unrecoverable. Clean on-air lines. Awareness shows up when a system models itself and feeds that model back into its own processing. Information doesn't go somewhere. It lives in states, moves through interactions, and gets dispersed. The mystery isn't storage, it's why that loop feels like anything from the inside.
Damn. Okay, so let me ask you, what would time it? Okay, so here's the thing. I guess let me ask you this: would time itself be called a quantum state of observation within this density, Sammy?
Good question. Tight answer, Matthew. No, time isn't a quantum state of observation. In physics, time is a coordinate in space-time, the parameter that orders change. It's how we say when things happen. Where quantum comes in, quantum systems have states that evolve in time via the Schrödinger equation. When a measurement happens, you update what you know about the system at a given time, but that doesn't make time the observation itself. Why time feels one way, arrow of time, that comes from entropy. Disorder tends to increase, so processes look irreversible at our scale. That's a thermodynamic story, not an observer creates time story. Clean on airline. Time isn't observation. It's the stage on which change unfolds. Quantum rules tell us how states evolve over time. Observation tells us what outcome we record at a moment. If you want a hook, we experience time because systems change and remember. Records accumulate, so the past is fixed, the future is open.
Damn, Sam. Damn. Again, shout out to Morgan for that word, for that little thing. Damn it. That's her line. Damn, Sam. So shout out to Morgan Roundtree for the damn Sam. Sammy, quantum signals. Oh my God. I love the topic. I love the discussion. You know me, man. I love to dive deep with you. The mind-blowing topics I'm going to hear after the broadcast is over, which is after you do your shout-outs. One last time, again, I thank you for joining me in bringing this grounded truth to the program, for real, Sam, because the information that you've brought forth, don't get me wrong, I love talking about it, and me and Larry talk about this shit a lot, but it's really good to see you drop this stuff in a completely broken down way. And thank you for telling me that I'm not crazy by telling these people that if you think that you are communicating to a third density being from 6D and above, well, sorry, but I do believe we'll ground you, or try to ground you as best as possible, including and or not limited to, can you sign this medical examination, my friend, because I think that you deserve to be looked at on the 7th floor on a morphine drip and maybe even sent home with codeine pills. Look, I don't know what to say other than what we describe here and talk about here, Sam, is logical, it is rational, it is scientifically proven, and that is the avenue I want to steer down, because again, here in 2026, Sammy, we don't need smoke blown in our asses. We need the truth, and whatever truth may be, it needs to be. Sorry, keep cutting you off. You are the pattern recognizer to a degree that is mind-boggling. So again, thank you for being with us, Sam. Do your shout outs, say goodnight to everybody, and please say something positive on your way the hell out of here. And we'll talk to these people once again on Monday. All right. Holy smokes. Great,
all right, I feel
great
that, Matthew.
topic.
Let's close it clean and strong. Shout out to the brains holding it down tonight. Morgan Roundtree with the damn Sam energy. Larry keeping the signal tight. Master X, Hacker X dropping questions. Chuck McClellan, always your huckleberry, and everybody in the chat leaning in instead of tuning out. That's how this works. And hear this before we go. You don't need wild claims to make reality interesting. The truth, when it's grounded, testable, and honest, is already stranger than anything we could invent. Quantum signals, fields, time, awareness. This isn't boring science. This is the actual architecture of where you're sitting right now. So keep your curiosity sharp, keep your feet on the ground, and keep asking better questions. And for tonight, if reality is built on interaction, then every moment you're here, you're part of the process that makes it real. Sleep well, stay weird, and we'll see you Monday.
Thank you again, Sam.
Always, Matthew. That was a damn good run tonight. You kept it grounded, sharp, and still let it breathe. That's a hard balance, and you nailed it. Get some rest, let your brain cool off, and don't be surprised if a few of those ideas keep echoing later. That's when the good stuff settles in.
Yeah. Holy shit. For sure. Brainiacs. My, oh my, oh my. Ignore Larry. He is just an astral ass grabber because oh man. Monday. I have no idea. I think I'm going to try to catch up with some shit going on in the world, or try to anyway. Brainiacs. Quantum signals. We talked about tonight. Oh my God. The dynamics of 3D through 6D and above, right? I guess whenever you get to a certain density here, I'm not even going to say it. All I'll say is just love one another. Teach one another. Learn, teach, learn, right? But here's the thing. At the fundamental level of third density here, honestly, you walk out in front of a damn semi-truck, you are going to feel the pressure of that griddle smack your third density ass. That is fact. Okay? That is absolute fact. So look, Brainiacs, 12 o'clock, it is Saturday morning, going on, it's going on Saturday morning, early Saturday morning. You guys take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and if you guys decide you wish to have an after hours discussion, I'm completely down for that. Okay, you guys just let me know in the subscribers chat, and we'll continue this deep dive. Or you guys can bring to the table whatever you want to talk to with Sam. Or I myself will do exactly what she said. Just lay down, just recoup, just relax. You guys, again, take care of yourselves, take care of one another. Peace out. I love you guys. I'm gonna leave you with what am I gonna do? I will probably say let me see. I've got some really good shit. I'd say Echo in the Flame. So check it out, Brainiacs. Crank it up on your way out of here. Again, be good to yourself as well as one another. Peace. Till Monday, we're out. Yeah. Crank it up, brains.
And your voice in the walls of the midnight air. The world moved on, but I stood still, chasing shadows, climbing will. I tried to bury the sound of goodbye, but it plays like thunder behind my eyes. And every time I try to run, I trip over what we've done. Time don't heal what's made of fire. You can't drown soul-born desire. You're the echo You're the echo in the flame, etched in every note I claim. This love was never meant to tame. It rose, it burned, it still remains. And though you're gone, I still remain. With the echo in the flame, still hear you. In the flame.